Hello, Guatemala, land of volcanoes, ancient Mayan ruins, and vibrant culture that dates back thousands of years, but also a political system teetering on the edge of authoritarianism. Sadly, yeah, the struggle is real. We're about to dive into how this beautiful country narrowly escaped becoming a full-blown dictatorship. It's a tale of resilience and resistance. Get ready, because the story is wild and the lessons are universal. It's a roller coaster of hope, despair, and ultimately triumph. Guatemala has a long and complicated history, a history that has shaped its present in profound ways. It's a history marked by colonialism, civil war, and political instability, each era leaving its own scars and lessons. For decades, the country has struggled to build a stable democracy, a democracy that truly represents its people. And just when it seemed like progress was being made, corruption reared its ugly head, a familiar foe in many nations. But here's the thing about corruption. It doesn't just happen overnight. It's insidious, it festers and grows, it creeps in slowly like a virus until it infects the entire system. And rooting it out is no easy task. And that's exactly what happened in Guatemala. Let's break it down. How did it get so bad, and what can be done to fix it? The rot started with dirty money infiltrating politics. It was a slow and insidious process, creeping in through the cracks of the system. We're talking about organized crime, drug traffickers, smugglers, you name it, pumping cash into political campaigns. These criminals saw an opportunity to expand their influence beyond the streets and into the halls of power. They weren't doing it out of the goodness of their hearts. They were buying influence. Every dollar handed over was a step towards controlling the political landscape. Think of it as an investment with high returns, not in stocks or bonds, but in power and protection.
They put their money down, expecting a return in the form of favorable policies and protection from prosecution. It was a calculated risk, and one that often paid off handsomely.
Once in office, these bought and paid for politicians started returning the favor. They became puppets, dancing to the tune of their criminal benefactors. They appointed judges and officials known for their, shall we say, flexible morals. These were people who could be relied upon to bend the rules, individuals who could be counted on to look the other way when a crime was committed. As long as the price was right, it was a system built on greed and mutual benefit. This created a vicious cycle. Corruption fed on itself, growing stronger and more entrenched with each passing day. Corrupt officials enabled more corruption, which in turn allowed organized crime to flourish. It was a self-sustaining loop of deceit and exploitation. It was a win-win situation for everyone involved. Except, of course, for the people of Guatemala. They were the ones who suffered, caught in the crossfire of a corrupt system. With the judiciary in their pockets, corrupt actors turned their attention to neutralizing their biggest threat: anyone who dared to stand in their way. And how do you silence dissent in a democracy? You weaponize the legal system.
Enter the Attorney General, supposed guardian of the law, transformed into a puppet master of persecution. Political opponents were slapped with bogus charges, their reputations dragged through the mud. Meanwhile, corrupt allies and their cronies roamed free, their crimes swept under the rug.
This wasn't justice, it was a sham. A carefully orchestrated performance designed to create the illusion of law and order while the country was systematically looted from within. With the legislative, judicial, and executive branches effectively under their control, the corrupt elite had achieved a terrifying level of power. Checks and balances gone, separation of powers a distant memory. Guatemala was on the verge of becoming a dictatorship in everything but name.
This is how democracies die. Not with a bang, but with a whimper. Not through a violent coup, but through the slow erosion of institutions from within.
It's a slow burn, a gradual descent into authoritarianism that often goes unnoticed until it's too late. But here's the thing. The story doesn't end there. Because the people of Guatemala refused to let their country be stolen from them. Section 5. Beyond Guatemala. A global threat. Now you might be thinking, that's messed up, Orlando, but I don't live in Guatemala. What does this have to do with me? Here's the reality check. The forces that almost destroyed Guatemalan democracy aren't unique to Guatemala. They're global. Think about it. Corruption scandals rock governments from Brazil to South Africa. Organized crime spreads its tentacles across borders. And the internet has become a breeding ground for disinformation and propaganda. The erosion of democratic norms is a global crisis. What happened in Guatemala is a cautionary tale, a reminder that democracy is fragile and must be protected.
Section 6, the power of the people. Reclaiming democracy. So what can we do? How do we reclaim our power and ensure our voices are heard? How do we fight back against corruption and protect our democracies from those who seek to undermine them? It starts with recognizing that we, the people, have the power. This power is not just theoretical, it is real and tangible. We just need to claim it. First and foremost, vote. Voting is the cornerstone of our democratic process. I know, it sounds obvious. But it's more than just a civic duty. It's a powerful tool for change. But seriously, your vote is your voice. It's your chance to influence the direction of your community and country. It's your chance to hold your elected officials accountable. Demand transparency and integrity from those in power. Don't let apathy or cynicism keep you from exercising this fundamental right. Every vote counts, and every voice matters. But it doesn't stop there. Voting is just the beginning. Get involved in local politics. Attend town hall meetings. Contact your representatives. Run for office yourself. Be the change you want to see. Make your voice heard beyond the ballot box. Engage in meaningful conversations and actions. Remember, democracy is not a spectator sport. It requires active participation. Together, we can reclaim our democracy and build a better future.
Section 7. Raising our voices, the importance of speaking truth to power. Another crucial weapon in our arsenal is free speech. We need to speak truth to power, call out corruption, and hold those in authority accountable. This can be through journalism, social media, art, protests, whatever platform you have. But here's the thing about speaking out. It takes courage. There are always risks involved, especially when you're challenging powerful people and institutions. But remember, silence only benefits the oppressors. Our voices are our most potent weapons against tyranny.
Section 8, a glimmer of hope. The Arevalo victory. Now, back to Guatemala. In a stunning turn of events, the people of Guatemala fought back. They took to the streets, demanding change. And in the 2023 presidential election, they elected Bernardo Arevalo, a man who campaigned on a platform of anti-corruption and transparency. Arévalo's victory was a beacon of hope, not just for Guatemala, but for democracies around the world. It showed that even in the face of rampant corruption and intimidation, the power of the people can prevail. But Arévalo's victory is just the beginning. The fight against corruption is far from over. It will require continued vigilance, activism, and a commitment to holding those in power accountable.
Section 9. The long road ahead. Safeguarding democracy. The lessons from Guatemala are clear. Corruption is a cancer that can destroy democracies from within. We must be vigilant in protecting our institutions, holding our leaders accountable, and exercising our rights. The fight for democracy is a marathon, not a sprint. It requires constant effort, vigilance, and a willingness to speak truth to power. But the alternative, a world where corruption thrives and authoritarianism reigns, is simply unacceptable. Let Guatemala be a reminder that we cannot take our democracies for granted. We must fight for them every single day, because in the end, the future of democracy rests not in the hands of politicians but in our own. Peace out.